Our family loves plays. We like movies, okay, but we really like plays. I love going to plays, and there's not a lot of great plays nowadays, but over the years there's been great plays, whether it's on Broadway, off-Broadway, in England, in Fort Lauderdale, wherever it may be. And what was interesting, every once in a while, there's a play that just kind of takes the whole country, and that's happened lately, and in fact, it's happened this year. It's a play called Hamilton. You've heard it. I think it won 9 Tony Awards last week or 2 weeks ago, and it's about Alexander Hamilton. Who would have thought that he would have a play excited about him? For a historian and a guy like me, I go, wow, this is fantastic. But over the years, as you work backwards, you realize there was Wicked, and there was Lion King, and there was Les Mis, and then there was Phantom of the Opera. There was Hello, Dolly for all you old people. There was West Side Story. But there was one that kind of still captures the imagination, and it's called Fiddler on the Roof. Remember that? Fiddler on the Roof. If you're new to America and you've never heard of it, or if you're young, it's a story of a family, a man named Tevye who has 5 daughters. It's early 1900s in Russia in a fictional town called Anatevka, I believe, and it's pre-Bolshevik Revolution, and the world is changing around Tevye and this little Russian Jewish community. The entire world is changing. And he begins to describe, and he sings these great songs, Sunrise, Sunset, and If I Were a Rich Man, He Was Poor. And he talks about a song called Traditions. Remember Tradition? I'm not going to dance or sing it. Zara Mostel did a much better job than I could do. But in it, he talks about why they titled it Fiddler on the Roof. Because that's an odd name. Now, it's literally named after a painting by Marc Chagall, who was a great Jewish abstract painter of the 1900s, fabulous painting of a fiddler who has 1 foot on a roof and 1 foot kind of dangling off the roof, and it's the fiddler. A fiddle is a violin, fiddler on the roof. But can I read to you why he referred to it as Fiddler on the Roof? That's Tevye. Tevye is saying this: a fiddler on the roof. Sounds crazy, no? But here in our little village of Anatevka, you might say every one of us is a fiddler on a roof, trying to scratch out a pleasant, simple tune without breaking our necks. It isn't easy. You may ask, why do you stay there where it's so dangerous up on the roof? Well, we stay because Anatevka is our home. And how do we keep our balance? That I can tell you in one word: tradition. Without our traditions, our lives would be as shaky as a fiddler on a roof. It's an amazing story of the reality that in pre-Bolshevik Russia, the Jewish people were very precarious. And it was as if the roof was getting steeper and steeper. And they were playing their tunes, living their lives, fiddling, it's a metaphor, not really, on the roof. And the roof was getting steeper and more dangerous. And it was harder and harder to stay on the roof of life and to play the tune of life simultaneously. And he said it was worth it because they lived in Anatevka. And as you look at our own lives as believers, and if I can just say this for a minute, in America, in the United States of America, our roof is getting steeper and steeper. And God has called us to play our tune of life on that roof that is getting steeper and steeper. And I think when I was a child, just 50 years ago, the roof may have almost been a flat roof. Very easy to play the tune on a flat roof. You just climb up to you can do it. And it's slowly gotten steeper and steeper and steeper and steeper. But God has called us to play our tune. And how do we do it? Well, not with the traditions of Russian pre-Bolshevik traditions that the Jewish people had. That's a great show. But he's called us to do it with certain things. And there's a man who lived 2,000 years ago in the early church, when the church period there, right after Stephen was killed, where the roof got steeper and steeper and steeper. And Stephen had been killed, and that's a part of the persecution, but Barnabas helps tell us how to live when the roof is very steep. And I want to look at that today in Acts 11.